My 29M fiancee, 30F, says if we ever divorce, she'd leave with future kids to China.
I love my girlfriend, we've been together 4 years and she is incredible. She's from China, I'm from the US, and we are located in the US. Unfortunately, some issues have come up while we were talking through what we want in our marriage and I don't know how to face them. The big issue has to do with what would happen if we were to run into issues we couldn't resolve in our marriage, and decide to divorce. It does feel weird talking about divorce at this stage, but I feel like we shouldn't enter marriage without talking these things through. She said she hates the US, and that I'm the only reason why she is here. She says that if we were to go through a divorce, God forbid, she would take the kids with her back to China. She also tells me it isn't worth talking about because she won't change her mind.
The conditions around the kids are not acceptable to me. She expects me to move to China and learn Mandarin to have access to the kids if things were to fall apart. I feel hurt by this, and think that this is uncharacteristically inconsiderate from her. I understand there would be legal options for me before that point, but I don't think it is healthy to consider that the solution and think it is important we reach a consensus now. I didn't realize how extreme and set in stone her stance was, and it seems like a huge red flag. I told her that if she chooses me, she chooses the US. How do we get unstuck? TLDR, she won't budge on taking future kids to China if we were to divorce. Edit, replaced abduct with take. If she is going to be completely miserable and you're her only tie to the US. My friend, you either have to be willing to move to China or find someone else who wants to build a life. You can't be someone's entire life, not even your spouse's. Things could fall apart whenever she decides she wants to go back. It doesn't sound like she's happy. Love isn't enough of a reason to be in another country, a place she hates. I don't think this is uncharacteristically inconsiderate. I think, for a long time, she's been lonely with no other reason to find the house to be a home. Her home is on the other side of the planet, and I think you need to have a conversation about whether she's happy before you marry and have children. Have you tried to learn Mandarin? What are you doing to make sure she's still able to access and connect with her community?
To put it simply, it seems you are not compatible. Although it may hurt, I am not sure how you can go on with a relationship where one of you may be miserable to such an extreme extent for a prolonged period of time.
Don't get married or have kids with her. Duh.
With the way things are going in China, especially relations between our two countries, I would really evaluate what a failed marriage would look like. The fact that she is willing to run with the kids if complications came about is a red flag. Before tying the knot, I would speak to an attorney, especially one that perhaps specializes in immigration or family attorney. See what your legal options are in the event that there's a divorce. Unless you're willing to give up your kids.
Let her return to the place she loves. Alone.
She expects me to move to China and learn Mandarin to have access to the kids if things were to fall apart. No. She expects you to lose your relationship with your children. She doesn't think you would actually move to China. Don't have kids with her. Plain and simple. But if you do, you can take the legal route and prevent her from moving the kids. She'll be able to move if she wants though. But of course you know that. Then y'all should break up. She will leave now and no longer be miserable. And you won't have to worry about having children just for them to disappear one day if she decides she's done being unhappy in the US.
Seems like a red flag. Plan on moving or breaking up.
1. This is a number of really large red flags. And you need to heed them. She said she hates the US and that I'm the only reason why she is here. This will be thrown in your face every time you hit a rough patch. She says that if we were to go through a divorce, God forbid, she would take the kids with her back to China. Check your state laws, federal laws, and the state laws of any place you move to. In most cases, that would not be legal unless she is granted full legal and physical custody in the divorce. She also tells me it isn't worth talking about because she won't change her mind. This may actually be the biggest red flag. She is comfortable making this an ultimatum. How many more ultimatums have you just not discovered yet? Try couples counseling if you like. But I think that you need a better fiancé. And this one has no interest in improving.
I would not be marrying her. Triangular flag on post, triangular flag on post, triangular flag on post, triangular flag on post.
I've got a family member in a not terribly dissimilar situation. Except 10 years and 3 kids down the road. It gets complicated and challenging and everyone sacrifices. But someone concedes. It sounds like both you and your GF are disinclined to concede. I'd urge you to reconsider building a life and future with someone who wants something diametrically opposed to what you want. I understand that it's much easier to say that from the outside looking in. But that doesn't make it wrong. Necessarily. I told her that if she chooses me, she chooses the US. You don't see how that stance is just as extreme and set in stone. In the past few years, have you even considered at least learning to speak Mandarin? So you can share her language like she shares yours? The easiest solution is to not get married and to not have children with her. You guys should really be with other people. You need to break up before it reaches the getting married stage. If she doesn't have friends in town, perhaps she needs to make friends with other Chinese immigrants in town. Encourage her to do this. Sure, the choice of friends is pretty limited and she may not like them. But it's better for her to try and make friends and make a home, and build a life outside of you, than just stuck together, for the two of you. This way, she may change her mind about living in the US. Also, I see how she feels a little bit. If she's more than willing to learn English and to stay in a place she hates for you, she feels that it should be the same way with you. You told her if she chose you, she chose to stay in the US. Why can't it be the other way around? She felt that she's doing all the sacrifice. People say, oh, living in China sucks, etc. But I can see why she feels living in the US sucks too. Aside from the occasional racism, plus microaggressions. Yes. As an immigrant, I've experienced this myself. It's pretty nerve-wracking reading about school shootings, etc. Even my own kid's school got threats a few times. Now he's in college. I'm still nervous for him. Wait until you guys have kids and she got those threats. The school will let you know. See, this is why you guys should not be together anymore.
Don't have kids with her.
Yeah, if you do marry her, which you should never have children with her. Just an observation, but after 4 years this stance of hers is a surprise to you. If I was you, I'd have to wonder what other surprises are in store for you. Maybe you don't know her as well as you think you do. Hey, I'm an American living in China now. Honestly, I can understand her dislike of the US. The lifestyle and city layouts are completely different. God forbid you moved her to the suburbs. You didn't, did you? The main dislike isn't from thinking patterns, but life is boring and it's hard to get around. Sure, she can afford a house, but everything else is way more expensive. I don't blame her. Honestly, China is not what it is made out to be. The cities are beautiful and people live happy lives without worry about their government. There are some issues but they won't apply to you. Kids raised in China are great, especially if you can give them a Western education here. Honestly, kids raised in China with access to American passports and family will be an asset to them in the future. Competition and some aspects of being an adult are tough here for the common person. So raising them in China and then having the opportunity to get further education in the US and work would be great.
Breakup.
I don't know if threats are a good basis for a relationship.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.